See, I've been waiting on that time. Feel me if you've been waiting on yours. That moment, it's close. It's close. It's close.
Yeah. Tired of living day to day like everything's alright. Just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. Yeah. Waiting on my moment.
Old dude met mom, it was on. Then he named me over a phone. Prison term, live and learn, sip and serve with my vision blurred. Take this cup of reality, niggas finna herb. When you start from the bottom, you can see the top. So when you get to it, don't let them see the spot. Next thing you know, you're looking for a rent sign. Upper echelon. Bitch, we skip line. I remember reminiscing in the kitchen like, I wonder when them Braves gon' win it. I wonder when them Falcons gon' get here. Pyrex Vision made more than I ever made with DTP this year.
Tired of living day to day like everything's alright. Every night just one thing on my mind. I'm just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. You say, oh, you got that all shit, hell no, next time that's mine. As long as I stay hustling, I'm gon' shine. I'm just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. Just waiting on my moment. Bad hoes, I'm showing it. Time came and I owned it, just like Brian Jackson start bowling. When I touched the rock and I cracked the block, when I pulled up in that mustard drop with that roof off and my shoes off for y'all bitch niggas. Roof off, real nigga in my hood who everybody gon' roof off. They see me come from that bottom where everybody get bodied. They told me get him, I got him. Now I'm here, nigga, like yeah, nigga, just Rolls Royce and Bugattis. And M4s this year, nigga. If I don't grind, I don't shine. If I don't shine, then I don't eat. If I don't eat, then I'm starving. If I'm starved, I pour heat on all y'all bitch ass niggas, all y'all rich ass niggas. If I don't make no money, nigga, I'm gonna take your money, nigga. Tired of living day to day like everything's alright. Every night just one thing on my mind. I'm just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. You say, oh, you got that all shit, hell no, next time that's mine. As long as I stay hustling, I'm gon' shine. I'm just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. Since life ain't promised tomorrow, live it up, live it up, live it up. Be a fool to come this far. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Oh, give it up, give it up, give it up. Until I have it all, yeah. Gotta live it day to day like everything's alright. Every night just one thing on my mind. I'm just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment. You say, oh, you got that all shit, hell no, next time that's mine. As long as I stay hustling, I'm gon' shine. I'm just waiting on that moment.
DJ Drama. And like that.
Welcome to the T.O.P Cast. I'm your host, the incredible T.O.P. And today I'm joined by my very special guest, Mr. Vonnie E.C. This dialogue has been a long time in coming. We actually scheduled it like over a year ago, but nonetheless, things happen when they will. Tonight, our discussion is centered around near-death experiences, living in the moment, and not taking things for granted. And I think that's a much, much more important message for you guys than worrying about the, insignificant issues that you have with women. Because like I said before, women are easy. Rocket science is hard. Welcome, Vonnie. Glad to have you. If you can, before we start, could you go ahead and plug your social media for the folks?
I'm on Instagram, Vonnie _EC. That's VONNIE_EC. You can look me up on Facebook, Vonnie EC. And you can also find me on YouTube, Vonnie EC.
For sure. I do have your Instagram link in the description below of the video and also in the chat. I neglected to get your YouTube information, but I will include that in the video description for those folks who are going to watch this on the playback. If you got time to put it in the comment section right now, Vonnie, that'd be cool. If not, don't worry about it. Like I said, I'll put it in the description later for people on the playback so that they could go directly to your Instagram, directly to your Facebook, and directly to your YouTube channel. The reason why I invited you here today on the Top Cast is because you put out a video yesterday explaining your recent experience having a near-death experience via a car accident. And I immediately reached out to you because not only can I empathize with you, I can sympathize with you. One, we're both truckers. And although the two accidents I was in didn't happen, in a truck, the fact that I was in two accidents and experienced at least one near-death experience out of those two accidents allows me to relate to the situation that you was just in and the things that you had to say subsequently. Firstly, I would like to say I'm glad that you did not, suffer any more injuries than what you may have suffered, and that you're still here to kick it with us and to kick it with me specifically. A lot of guys may not know, but me and you've been knowing each other since about 2019.
For sure, definitely.
So, is that the first type of experience like that you've ever had? The first near life and death experience?
I've been in a car accident before, but I wasn't driving, and we got T-boned. Actually, we got T-boned on my side. It happened when I was probably like somewhere in high school or fresh out of high school. But this situation right here was a little different, man, because this involved a semi truck, and I was in my own car. So I'm riding down the highway, going down 8094. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. This is 8094 in Gary, Indiana area. So I'm going 8094 westbound toward Chicago. Was about to go visit my folks. And so anyway, it's where I'm at on the highway is 4 lanes. I'm in the second lane. The truck is in the third lane. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? That's just my thing when I'm driving next to trucks. I'm always trying to get the fuck about their way. I mean, can we curse?
Oh, feel free. I'm not monetized, and we both grown. Express yourself.
So, I'll be trying to make sure I get about their way, but I honestly did not notice that this truck was on the side of me. You know what I mean? Like, because it's just you going down 8094, it's just a natural thing, especially in the daytime. This was like around 10:45, 11 o'clock, so it was all type of traffic out. So anyway, all of a sudden I feel a boom, and I thought instantly for some reason I thought, well, damn, what the fuck is that? A tire rod went out, or one of my tires went out or something? And then I realized, shit, this truck is on the side of me. So when the truck hit me, because basically what happened, the truck was trying to get over in my lane. The truck didn't even see me. I must have been in his blind spot because I got hit with the drive tires.
Quick. That's exactly what I was getting ready to ask you. Which set of tires did make contact with your car? And you let me know that it was the drive tires.
Yeah.
And for all of you guys who don't know where the drive tires are on a tractor trailer, it's the tandems right behind the very first 2 wheels on the truck. So it's the four wheels in between the end of the truck and the front of the truck. Please continue, Vonnie. Thanks.
And to be honest with you, at the time I didn't know that I got hit by drive tires, but when I replay the situation in my head as I'm swerving back and forth trying to get control, as I don't have control, I'm still like up against the truck. So they had to be the drive tires, because if they was the rear of the trailer tires, I would have spent off in the traffic as soon as he would have hit me. You know what I mean? So they was the drive tires. So like I said, man, I'm trying to get control of the damn car. Luckily, the damn, I'm driving in a little Infinity. So luckily the car didn't go under the fucking truck or under the trailer, because I could have fucked around and got smashed the fuck up. I mean, it just really could have ended up bad. So after I got done swerving back and forth on the truck, I ended up spinning out. I mean, my car was just writing in cursive, man, across that highway, man. And luckily, this is in the midst of oncoming traffic. I don't see how I didn't get hit, man, but I ended up spinning out. And I'm talking about full 360-degree circles and spent to the shoulder. And this part of the shoulder, it had a brick barricade, so that's what stopped me. And once I spun out and hit that barricade, I stopped and I was facing oncoming traffic. And just that whole time while that shit was happening, man, I don't remember like panicking. I just remember just like, well, damn, this about to be it. This shit finna go black in a minute because somebody's gonna hit me. Somebody is gonna hit me. One of these trucks is gonna hit me. You know what I'm saying? 8094, midday, it ain't nothing but trucks on the road over there. You know what I'm saying? So, and anybody that know about that area, when you coming in from Chicago or you coming from Illinois on 8094 going to Indiana, man, that shit can get thick. If you know that area, you know it. So I'm just thinking like, man, it's over. This is it.
I know I'm familiar with the area because we both truckers, and I've been up that way before, coming through Indiana, going up into Illinois, up to Chicago. Right. So when you said it was on the 8094, my little young lady friend that I be kicking it with sometime, I said, oh, he up there around Indiana, up there around Chicago. Exactly. And she was like, how you know? I was like, because I'm a trucker. The highways is set up a certain way. Right. The numbers tell you where you are in the country. A lot of folks don't know that though.
No, they don't.
But being that we both are truckers, not only do we understand how dangerous it is to get in an accident with a truck, but just the inherent danger of driving a truck, of a vehicle of that size, because most folks don't think about how much a fully loaded truck weigh.
Man, I don't need. Go ahead.
And what most folks don't take into consideration, especially like, this didn't happen in your case, but as a trucker, I've seen a lot of it where people jump out in front of these trucks and think that these trucks can stop like cars. And what they don't know is these trucks be weighing like 80,000 pounds or less. But the least they weigh with a trailer is about 40,000 pounds. So I say that to say, or to speak on the point that you made, when you guys are out in traffic, stay the hell away from them trucks, because the tire could blow out and come through your window and cause you to have a deadly accident. You don't even have to necessarily get hit by one.
Right.
But to speak on, what you were saying about your experience during the actual accident itself, I experienced some of those things myself in the accident that I had, even though I didn't get in an accident with a truck. I got in an accident with another car. I got rear-ended on a motorcycle in June 1st of 2018. And the motherfucker hit me at like 40 miles an hour. And he spun that bike from up underneath me. And I almost died. I could have broke my neck and died the way I hit the concrete. So like I was saying before the show started, I can identify with you going through that experience because it changes your perspective. It changes the way you look at life and how you subsequently begin to live it based on that experience.
Right.
And a lot of folks don't have near-death experiences like what we are, relaying. And so it would be hard for them to conceptualize some of the things that we're saying, even though it may sound good, but they really need to take into consideration the message that, we're trying to communicate to them. And that is, be careful out there for one, and two, stay the hell away from them semi trucks, because you're going to lose every time.
Yeah, man. I definitely was in this guy's blind spot, which is something that all drivers, which us as truckers, we call, regular drivers four-wheelers. So you never want to drive in a trucker's blind spot. And they blind spot is right where I was at. Where those drive tires is at, like you be anywhere between the door, the truck driver door, and those drive tires, those are basically the blind spots. You know what I mean? And you not, if you gonna drive next, if you gotta be by a truck, you either need to be in back of that motherfucker, or you need to be trying to speed up past him to hurry up and get past his blind spot. Because that's where I was at. I was in his blind spot. You know what I mean? And I'm going past, but he fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to, before you switch. I know me as a trucker, before I switch lanes, I'm looking everywhere. And even if I'm not sure, I'm sitting up in my seat trying to look as far over the window on the passenger side just to make sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll wait a couple seconds before I make that turn just to see if there's somebody that's gonna pass me up. You know what I mean? So he didn't do it, even though I was in his blind spot, he still did not do his due diligence.
And that leads into my next point, is that we as people have it, because I've done it myself, so I don't want to put myself in a situation that's going to make me a hypocrite. I've done it too, where we as people have a tendency to be careless when we get in these vehicles and go here and there. We carelessly speed, drive recklessly, and don't take into consideration how dangerous an endeavor it is just to get behind the wheel of a vehicle and go from point A to point B. You could literally get in a car, go a mile, and be dead.
Yeah, and the crazy thing was the day before that, I was coming from Wisconsin Rapids, and this was the day it snowed real bad. The snow started from up there, from up north. I don't know how far it started from Wisconsin, but from where I was at, because I had to make a delivery. Well, I didn't have to make a delivery, but I did. I had to take a load up there and drop it off for somebody else to deliver. Then I had to take my break, and in Wisconsin Rapids, and it was pouring down snow. So I had to take my 10-hour break. About time my break was up at 7 o'clock in the evening, it was all fucked up. And I had to drive from there. I had to drive all the way from there back to Chicago. But man, the ground, it wasn't no good conditions. You know what I'm saying? On a 70 mile per hour highway, I'm going like an average of 50 miles per hour, between 40 and 50 miles per hour. So that just lets you know how bad the, you know what I mean? So for me to go through all that, then the next day almost get killed in my own car by a truck, that was kind of wild.
Man, I got hit. Like I told you, I had 2 accidents a year apart, both motorcycle accidents, of no fault of my own. The first time I got hit, I was out of work for like 6 months. And I don't know if you've seen Captain America Civil War, but there's a scene in there where Tony Stark talking to Spider-Man, to Peter Parker, and he showed him a clip of himself on YouTube where he could get hit by a car that crashed into a bus. Yo, I looked at that scene. Ever since then, I'll be like, yo, I feel like Spider-Man, even though them goddamn cars is they deadly than a motherfucker. But just to kind of like make a joke out of the shit, because it's a very, very serious situation.
Right.
But to lead into the next point, as a consequence of this situation, it altered my perspective on life itself. And in the video that you put out on Instagram, to me it kind of sounded like you were alluding to maybe that same thing happening to you as a result of going through the incident that you did. And so in as much as that, it made you realize how important here and now is, the present moment. how much more important it is as an individual to be focused on the present moment as opposed to things that happened in the past that you can't change and things that haven't happened in the future yet that you may be planning for that you might not ever see. And I thought that was a very important and poignant point to allude to. And I wanted to know if you had any additional thoughts in regards to, what I just had to say.
I mean, it just made me realize any day can be your last, man. Any day can be your last because of a little car that I was in with a truck, man. That ain't, them type of odds don't be too good. So for me to survive that and be able to walk away from that without a scratch on me, you know what I'm saying? The only thing I got is like a little, just a little bruise on my left side, like up under my arm, but it ain't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it's gonna do within these days coming, but other than that, to be, have my wits about myself, I'm cool and everything is life, man. You can't take life for granted, man. Life can be taken away from you just like that at any time. So I know it's things that I've been planning on doing, but that shit just made me just realize, like, man, there's no more time for waiting. You have to do what the fuck you're supposed to do. Fuck all this waiting and planning because you don't even know if you're gonna be here. You know what I mean? We have to live in the moment. And this goes back to, I remember something that Rosebud said on American Pimp years ago. And I remember when he said, he was like, it's ABP, man. You got to always be playing, man. And when I heard him say that years ago, I'm thinking like, man, okay, I hear what he's saying. That's just some fly pimp shit he just saying. But I understand not today. I understand what the fuck he talking about. And basically, like what he was saying is you have to live in the moment. He was talking about women and on some pimp shit with that remark, but I took that as you have to always be able to live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we don't take advantage of the time that we have. We don't live in the present. And I know I'm that type of person. I'm always planning for the future. There's a lot of stuff that I let slide by me. You know what I mean? I let a lot of fun shit slide by me because it's like, I'd rather put this to the side and focus on this. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you gotta have fun in between. You gotta be able to live in the moment. You have to enjoy those moments because you never know when the moments, because any moment can be your last.
That's facts. That's facts. First and foremost, salute to the OG Rosebud. I fuck with Rosebud. That's a pimping ass nigga. And I'm familiar with his ABPs that always be playing. And I understand it in much the same way you understand it. And I also understand it the way that he laid it out because it speaks to exactly what we're talking about, where guys, at least in regards to women, should understand that, see, these things transfer over. They don't just apply to just women, but guys should understand that when they're dealing with women specifically, it's all about that moment. And if you don't capitalize on that moment, it could be the last moment. So get it in and stop being scary. But to expound on it even further, in regards to what you had to say, I went through the same thing. But actually, prior to my accident, I've kind of had that thought in my mind for quite some time. There is no present. I mean, no past, because it's happened already and it's gone. It only exists as a memory. And there is no future because you haven't got there yet. There's only ever the present, because your past used to be your former present. Right. Now you're in the present, and when you get to the future, it'll be your new present. So you're only ever in the present moment.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I understand it implicitly. I understand exactly where you're coming from when you speak on being in the moment, and that being in the moment requires you to have presence of mind to be aware of what's going on in that moment so that you can make use of whatever's going on, because it's meant to be a part of your life, or else it wouldn't be happening, where you could witness it.
Right.
And that would lead me into my next point, which is, because we both had near-death experiences, I can only imagine you would have to express it in your own words, but I know for myself, because I've had multiple near-death experiences. This is not just the first one, but it's given me the space and it's caused me to think in such a way where I have become more grateful just for basic, simple shit, like ramen noodles, for example. In other words, I don't really take things for granted as much as I did once upon a time. And I think a lot of guys need to understand that and employ that in their lives, because you don't know when it's going to be your last moment.
No, you don't. And, I wake up every morning, man. First thing I do as soon as I wake up out of my bed, man, I hit the ground, kiss the ground, literally, every morning.
Mm-hmm.
My bed up. You know what I'm saying? No, well, technically, I go take a piss first, then I come back and make my bed up. But I appreciate everything, man. I appreciate my freedom. All the little things. Sometimes, even though, I have an ultimate vision of where I'm going and where I know I want to be, and even though I might not necessarily be there, I'm still good. I still have to remind myself, like, I'm still good. Like, I'm providing for myself. You know what I'm saying? I can do this, I can do that. I ain't hurting, I ain't hungry. When I get paid, like, I don't be penny pinching my checks like, oh, I got this exact amount. A lot of time I don't even look at my checks, fam. I just know Friday came, oh, I got paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful to be able to walk into my own crib and it's warm on the inside. Or if it's hot, I got AC. You know what I'm saying? Just being grateful, fam. You know what I'm saying? And you have to appreciate what you do have. And that's another thing too. Like, in today's times, man, a lot of people, man, we compare ourselves to the shit that we see on social media a lot. And we put ourselves down because of what another motherfucker might have going on or what they making it look like. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, I say last year, was it last year? Sometime in 2019, man, I had a Camaro. You know what I'm saying? And when I first got the shit, like 3 days after I had it, for one thing, I realized I made a mistake because I wasn't even supposed to be trying to get no fucking car note. But I sat in the car, made a bitch move, a whole decision, and like, oh, I got to have this, so I got it. But I never told nobody about it. Only people who seen me in it was the people that was close to me or around me. But I never posted it on social media because it was just like, man, that ain't even my thing, is to put shit in people's faces like that. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't trying to keep up with the Joneses on social media.
Yeah. Oh, I understand implicitly. Guys who follow me here on YouTube, and even you yourself, because like I said, we've been kicking it since 2019. For all these guys who don't know, me and Vonnie been knowing each other through social media for a while.
Right.
But you can go look at my Instagram. I don't put my lifestyle in people's face.
Right.
And first of all, I know motherfuckers is nosy as hell, and they go try to compare their life to mine.
Right.
When it ain't even about that. Live the best life for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that you got the things that you need, because you encounter trying to keep up with the Joneses is kind of like trying to satisfy other people. And when you get yourself in that kind of a situation, you always end up losing, because you never can keep up with the Joneses.
No.
They're always going to come with something new. That's just the way entertainment works.
Right.
And so it's like computers. You buy a new Apple today, in 18 months, that shit's worthless.
Right.
You know?
Or like I got somebody I know that we follow each other on Instagram. I know that I've been knowing this guy for some years too through music, you know what I'm saying? But we still fuck with each other shit on Instagram. But he kind of inspired me to get into the fragrance game. I always been fucking with colognes and shit like that. But I have to admit, like this particular person, like the shit that he was showing on his Instagram was like colognes that I never heard of, you know, the higher end shit. And I'm like, I had to ask him, like, man, what's that? Where you get that from? So he put me on game, and ever since then, you know, I've been getting my little collection up. And then I started trying to do like what he did, you know what I'm saying, or what he do, because every so often he'll show his new fragrance that he got. And then I caught myself, I did that probably maybe once or twice, and then I'm like, no, that ain't even me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to see how I smell, you just gonna have to see me in person. But I use that for example. Like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and just stay in my lane, and just
exactly. And I'm the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could get on YouTube. I know enough about women to give guys advice on things that they should and shouldn't do with women, but in my opinion, like I was saying when we was talking in the back chat before the show even started, that's really irrelevant. That's probably one of the least most important things that guys need to be worried about and need to be focused on. And I try to explain that if you get the other parts of your life together, that will happen like automatically. You don't even have to really do much work except to show up and not be a fuck up.
But you know, who you got to look at the people that we telling this shit to, or not we, but well, you for instance, you know what I'm saying? You a factor in the game now. You putting this knowledge and stuff out there, but we got to think about who's listening to this type of stuff. And a lot of these guys, I mean, are young guys, and that's what's on their mind is females. Because when I was at a certain age, that's all that was on my mind is females, you know. And sometimes what I think a lot of these guys don't be understanding is that you have to go through shit, man. You just have to live, fam. Like, yeah, you can. Okay, so this dating coach could tell you, well, don't approach women and don't do this, and they break down the whole science. It's like we only got to where we at by living through this shit. You know what I'm saying? The disappointments, the rejections, feeling played, like all that type of shit. We get to where we at now because of the shit that we allowed ourselves to go through. You're not just gonna just go write down some notes from some motherfucker off YouTube. Okay, I got it. No, you gotta feel that shit. You gotta feel the hurt. You gotta feel the pain. You gotta feel the embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? That's called getting your iron sharpened. So
It's just like going to the gym. You're not going to change your physique physically from being a flabby 200-pound dude to being 180 pounds and you know, fit and cut without putting in some work. And what I see is a lot of guys come on the internet looking for band-aids to their situations. And I know if these guys are having these kind of problems with women, they are also having these same problems in their life away from women. And I've always been an indifferent guy, not just towards women, but towards people in general.
right.
You know, I don't even think about doing it. I just do it automatically.
Right.
To such an extent that people remark about it. They'd be like, damn, you just ain't paying me no attention. I'd be like, oh, I was in my own little world. What you say again?
Amen.
And you can't teach that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You either are like that or you're not.
Right.
It's just like with the alpha beta thing. You know, what I found with that situation is guys, one, they don't want to accept their position because they're not honest with themselves.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with being a beta. It has its pros and cons. Same thing with an alpha, has its pros and cons. But what I found was a lot of guys don't want to accept what their true position is in the hierarchy amongst men because we all are in hierarchies. We can't help it. And people don't want to accept alpha or beta as a label, but when they go to work, they accept boss or employee, depending on, you know, which they view as being better.
Right.
But a lot of guys come into this space, I think, for the wrong reasons. And I think it's all tied into, you know, whatever bad experiences or no experiences they have with women. And it's just my personal opinion that I think it's best that guys work on themselves. And as a consequence, you know, not that women just go fall out of the tree, but by working on yourself, by becoming more in tune with who you are as a man, what you'll notice is that more women will be attracted to you just by just while you're doing your own thing,
Right.
and not paying them any attention.
Right.
I think a lot of guys miss that point.
Well, that's just like the saying go, man. Don't chase the ass, chase a bag.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to work on yourself, man. It's so ABC, you know what I'm saying? But I guess it seems like a lot of these guys having a hard time understanding that. But it's gonna always be people that's gonna want to find the easy route or the easy way out. And this like a lot of stuff that I've listened to on YouTube within the space that, you know, we absorb content in. Like a lot of, I have learned some things, you know what I'm saying, but most of it is confirmation to the shit that I already knew and understood. Just like I was telling you earlier about being indifferent. That was just something that I thought that was a handicap. I always thought that was a handicap. But I'm like, damn, these dudes is trying to teach dudes how to be that. Like, to be honest with you, I wish I could be the social motherfucker, the motherfucker with the bottles and everybody around me, but that ain't me. And I accept that. And my success with women was always good because of that. I attracted women because of that. Because women don't like being ignored. So if you somebody that a chick might have interest in, or somebody that she would want to fuck with, she see all these other dudes in her face, but you that nigga like over there in the corner all the time, or you walking past, you not minding and paying no business, they gonna want to know what's up with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's both ways. You just got
curiosity kills the cat.
Exactly.
There's a lot of truth in that cliche.
Exactly. Yeah, right. So you just got to be yourself, man, and know yourself, know your strengths, and know your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Lie to yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of guys is out here lying to themselves.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what I was alluding to with the alpha beta comment that I just made earlier. You know, a lot of guys, their problems primarily stem from a lack of knowledge of themselves. So they don't know what kind of guy they are truly, because they ain't really spent enough time and done any self-reflection. Or if they do know who they are, they're not comfortable with that person. Right. Because they try to fake it till they make it. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can't fake it and make it.
That's just all a part of knowing yourself. Like, you know, some guys might say, okay, don't compliment a woman. Don't do all the shit that a gentleman would do, but I could still be a gentleman and still get my rocks off that same night. It's all about you. It's all about your energy. You know what I'm saying? I could take a chick out to a restaurant and pull her chair out for her, open her car door, and that shit ain't gonna make me look no less of a man because of what I got inside of me. You know what I mean? I'm if I was to do that shit, I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I'm trying to get something or I'm trying to prove something to this chick. But that all comes with you knowing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, the text back and forth game, a lot of dudes be talking about, like, okay, if she texts you here, you make sure you don't text her back. You give her 15 minutes and then you text back in 30 minutes. Like, fuck all that. Like, no, you gotta do all this shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate, and I'm not the originator of this phrase, but Dante Nero is. And if you're familiar with the Black Phillip show, then that was Patrice homeboy who we kicked it with on the show all the time. But I was listening to the Black Phillip show in 2008 and 2009 before Patrice died, and that's when I first heard Dante Nero say that no game is real game. And it immediately clicked with me because I don't use game with women. I do exactly what you were just describing. I just be myself. And I advise guys, this is why I tell guys it's important that they get to know themselves so that they don't need game. You understand what I'm saying? And you're going to naturally attract the women that are attracted to the type of guy that you are. Now, you might not want them all, you know what I'm saying? But by being yourself, you actually have a better chance at success with the woman over a long period of time, because like I pointed out in one of my videos, it's very difficult to present yourself to a woman as one person and then over time you change into something else.
Right.
So you can't meet a woman and say, I'm not looking for a relationship, and 6 months later you're trying to be a boyfriend, because you seem two-faced. You seem like a hypocrite, and women don't respect that. Guys will pick up on that because they too busy getting Band-Aid brand information off the internet, you know what I'm saying, instead of just being themselves.
Right. And part of knowing yourself, see, the way I look at it too, man, ain't none of these, nobody that's giving advice on the internet is wrong. No matter what we may think, nobody is wrong, because everybody is only speaking through their own experience. So if one person is telling you, well, you shouldn't approach chicks, or this guy is telling you don't do this, they speaking through their own experience. But if you know and understand yourself, you know how to discern things and take shit that applies to you. I can take so much from so many different people. And, I might not agree with their full message, but I can be like, but when he said this, I like that. So I'm going to take that and apply that to me, because I know where it fit in my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's all a part of knowing yourself. And just like you said, I heard the pimp guy say this too, the highest level of game is no game. The highest level of game is honesty. And that's
Exactly. I'm so glad that you just said that, because that was something that I was thinking about, but I wasn't sure that I was going to speak on it. But I advocate that with guys too. You know what I'm saying? Even Alan Roger Curry, his mode 1 is essentially the same thing. Be honest. Tell these women what you want. It's my mother and my father used to always say, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So for example, the reason why I mention that is because you could tell a woman, yeah, I want to fuck, in such a way that it don't sound like I want to fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I would love to oil you down with this baby oil gel. She know what you mean. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think a lot of guys misinterpret that or misunderstand how important and how valuable it is to be honest with women. But first they have to learn to be honest with themselves. And a lot of guys do not do that, which is how they had that same problem with women. So that to say, fellas who's listening and the folks who go listen on the playback, stop lying to yourself, because it come across when you meet these women. You're lying to yourself, and you can't help but to lie to them because you're already lying to you.
Real shit.
That's how I know that you motherfuckers is faking. I can hear it when you say it, when you talk.
Right.
And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. I'm not saying this to diss anybody. I'm saying it because it's going to help you more than it is me. I already know it. And as a man, and specifically as a black man, I feel like it's my responsibility to pass that message on to other black men, knowing that it's going to be more beneficial than detrimental.
Yeah. It's like I was telling you a little earlier about the video I made on Facebook, man. This shit is funny, man. I know I hit a lot of motherfuckers in their chest, but shit, one of my homeboys, because I was talking about the difference of being a common nigga as opposed to being a gentleman or a Renaissance man, like separating yourself. And I gave the example, like, yeah, I didn't lie, I didn't cheat it, you know what I'm saying? I did all this shit. That's common nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? And one of my partners, he had hit me up. He texted me. He was like, yeah, man, I've been doing some common nigga shit. So, I mean, but it's got to be said, though, man, because in this space, when we listen to this content, everything is always pointing at the women. Everything is always pointing at the women. And it's just like, okay, when are we gonna start really looking at ourselves? Because I came to an epiphany some years ago. It just hit me like, I'm like, damn, okay, if I'm always just casually saying these bitches ain't shit, fuck these hoes, and whoop-de-whoop, then what does that make me? You know what I'm saying? If I'm constantly saying this shit, these bitches ain't shit, then what it got? And I'm saying that there are some good, men out here that are finding good women. Well, I'm like, well, maybe it might be something wrong with my fucking energy. And when I came to that conclusion, man, it just took me down a rabbit hole of really looking at myself. You know what I'm saying? And just through my journey from that point on, just been looking at myself, looking through myself, looking through my own bullshit. That's why I don't be so hard for guys like us to see through bullshit, because we can see through our own bullshit. If you can see through your own bullshit, you can look through anybody else like a fucking glass of water.
Once you know yourself, you know all others. I believe that's what it's saying in the Bible or something close to that. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. And this is another reason why I advocate that guys get to know themselves and to begin to get comfortable with who they are as a person, because you are who you are. It's best to embrace it rather than to run away from it. But a lot of guys, I find that same phenomenon. They come in and it's women, is all of the conversation is always about women. In fact, I don't even hear many guys even talking about being their quote unquote best selves anymore, or the best version of themselves. I don't even hear that conversation or that terminology anymore. I mean, I don't know how often you listen to content on YouTube, but have you heard anybody talking about much about that lately?
And listening to too much content, because I don't need to hear most of this shit. Like, I don't anything that got to do with women, man. It's like, okay, I'm that's not even where my mind is at right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what we need to be talking about, focusing on my goddamn self, and everything else will come. So, that's the main important issue right there, man. We always pointing at the women. And on the side note, because we had this conversation before, we was talking about traveling, right? And that's another topic. That's something else that's been coming up too, like how guys are going to these different countries, right? And like for instance, they talk about guys that's familiar with the Dominican Republic. I've been hearing talks about, man, these dudes is fucking up the Dominican Republic. They coming down there with their Americanized ways and shit like that, and they fucking it up. And I see this happening. I see this happen, even though I only been in the Dominican Republic. That's the only place I've been to so far in my travel journey. I can see this happening because a lot of dudes, they seeing this content about traveling and they just thinking easy pussy. A lot of dudes. I ain't saying every dude, but a lot, probably most. They just thinking easy pussy, but they don't realize, like, all you're doing is you're gonna end up changing the women in these foreign places, because the same women that you're running to, they're going to end up like the women that you're running from, because you're bringing that same weak ass energy to where you're going and doing the same weak ass shit that you was doing in America, or that you could, the type of chicks that you wanted to do that shit with but couldn't. You run off to these other countries and you do that shit. So I just see a lot of shit from what I see, man. I just see a lot of motherfuckers running from themselves, man. That's what I see a lot. You know what I mean? This dude out trying to, run in these other countries, or whether it's just everybody just pointing the finger at the women and shit like that, man. I hear a lot of shit with dudes running from their own self.
I just recently, last week, I released a 3-video series called Zaddy, Zaddy, and that was the entire premise of that 3 video series. I knew before I put it out that it wasn't going to get a lot of play. And I knew it wasn't going to get a lot of play because the focus is being taken off the women and put back on the men. Because I've heard a lot of guys in this space blame black women, and I agree with a lot of the things that they say. However, where we differ in opinion at is that where guys fail to live up to their accountability as men, because what they don't understand is if they want these black women to stop behaving the way that they do, they only have to do two things: remove the person who's causing it, and then create a space for them so that they can produce the kind of women that they want. Mm-hmm. And that's two things as black men that we don't do. So as black men, we really have no leg up to stand on to make any complaints about what black women do. But guys don't want to hear that because they act a lot like these women that raised them. Very passive aggressive, and they shirk accountability very much like these women do.
Right.
And then they have the audacity to come on YouTube and rally around motherfuckers who complain about bitches and what they do.
Right.
The problem is women are going to do what women are going to do. What are we men going to do? That's what I want to know. Except complain.
And I remember this one particular episode, man. This was a while ago, but Ron Wills touches on this a lot, and this is why I fuck with him, man. He's one of the guys that points the finger at the men, like, you know what I mean. In particular, he was talking about how dudes is complaining about these women ain't feminine, and they got this masculine energy, and he was like, well, I've never had that problem. I've never had that problem. I don't even attract those type of women. I don't even know nothing about those type of women. Because he was like, because when a chick look at me, the look on my face says, bitch, I wish you would. And man, I cracked up, man. I had to rewind that shit a few times because I felt that. Because that made me look at myself, and I really went back and started thinking like, damn, like, okay, yeah, I've had my share. I understand fuckery. I've had my share of it. I know what it is. But in general, across the board, I've never dealt with no masculine energy type of woman myself. You know what I mean? I've never attracted those type of women. Even like when I see these chicks on the internet and they got to do this and I don't even attract those type of women. So I don't even have nothing bad to say about them because they don't exist to me.
That's facts. And I've had the same experience that you just described. First of all, shout out to the OG Ron Wills, especially because he gave me a cosign. You know what I'm saying? I want to take this moment to, show my respect and to shout him out. And I appreciate you for pointing out the fact that I'm not the only one. He's also another YouTube content creator who points the finger at men. And a lot of these guys, like I was saying, they refuse to be accountable as men. And then they wonder why they had the problems out of these women that they do. And it's got a lot to do with the fact that they are faking. They not honest with themselves. They not honest about the situation that we are in as a group of men. And like I said, then they have the nerve, the audacity really to come on the internet and complain. Yeah, you're not acting no different than the people who you complaining about.
I think that's something that a lot of men don't understand, man. It's a burden. It's a gift and a curse to be a man. Like women, we had this situation in these days. Women want to compete with men, and women want to be men so bad. But to really, and this is something that I'm coming into really understanding. See, being a man is just more than just having a dick and a job. You know what I'm saying? It's a real burden to being a man. Like, you have to shoulder a lot, and a lot of dudes ain't used to shouldering a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with the book written by Master Yao called The Awakening the Master Masculine.
Absolutely.
In that book, he talks about the 4 archetypes that make up the house of the man, and how a lot of men, or most men, when they come into their adulthood, they don't have all these archetypes online. Like the eagle, the hunter, the warrior, and the healer. You might have one maybe 2 of those online. But when you come into your adulthood, but most of us, we're not cultivated with all those archetypes online when we come into our manhood. And a lot of dudes don't even be realizing that they missing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I think one thing a lot of men don't even realize that a lot of us be slacking in. Like a lot of us, we not healers. We healers too. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to nurture the women, but if we don't know how to do that, if we're not being raised and cultivated to do that, then and we're not cognizant of that, then we're gonna always be pointing the finger at the women. You went out, okay?
Exactly, I agree with you 100%. And on that note, I'm going to start wrapping up the show, because that is the message overall of this dialogue, is that one, guys are not appreciative and grateful of of the things that they have, the necessities that they have. We as men have a tendency to take shit for granted, and as a consequence, we don't realize just how precious our life is, just how short it is. A lot of us don't even think in some of the ways that I think, or the ways that you think, because really our lives is happening in a blink of an eye in consideration to how long some other things have been around. You understand what I'm saying? And not to say that our life is very valuable and very precious, and we should take it a lot more seriously than what we do, especially us as Black people living in the situation that we in right here in America. And I'd also like to point out that as a consequence of us being in this situation underneath the boot of these white folks, we all pretty much, are a breath away from death at any time. We see it on the news all the time, or we hear about it. How some other Black man that got shot down by the police and he had no gun, but yet and still we fail to recognize that we're not in a power position as a group of men, not individually, but as a group of men, to be complaining about nothing that Black women as a group of women do. No matter how wrong it is, because I do agree with guys, it is incorrect behavior, but you don't blame the women, because they just as much as victims as we are. And on a side note, we as Black people are the only fucking group of people in existence I ever heard of who could get their ass kicked for 500 years and don't call ourselves victims. But I say that to say that Black women are being victimized just like we are. And so we have to expect that this is what they're going to do to ensure their survival. And you can't be mad at them for that. But a lot of guys come on the internet and they mad at these women, when in reality, they should be mad at themselves, because they the men. You can't expect the women to go fight the war.
Just like the saying goes, in any given society, the women are the reflection of the men.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
I feel like each and every individual, to change it as a whole, that's something else. But each and every individual, man, can make that choice to implement the things he need to implement in his life to get his life the way that he wanted to go. And going back to what we touched on, one of the main important parts, man, is being real with yourself and focusing on yourself and building yourself. Because I am a firm believer that if you have your shit together, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, and you a man out here, you know what I'm saying? You got your backbone intact. You got your integrity intact. You're not going to have to have no conversation with no woman about submission. That word ain't never even got to come up. She just going to fall in line automatically.
Agree. I agree 100%. Before we get out of here, I just want to say again to you, Vonnie, I'm glad that you are okay.
Man,
I've been in accidents before. I know how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, in my accident in 2018, I was laid up for 6 months. broke both thumbs, elbow. I got road rash all up my left side, whiplash, and I had lower back damage. You know, I'm a lot better than I am now than I was even a year ago, but I still suffer a little bit as a result of being in that accident. And at 45 or get ready to be 45, trust me, I notice it. Because when I was 25, I could fall off the Empire State Building and get up and walk that shit off. Now, shit, I don't even want to look at the front door of the Empire State Building on the ground floor because it hurt to do so. But I want to say I appreciate you for coming through, especially since it was on such short notice. And I'm glad that we finally got to do this drop because, like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we were supposed to have done a drop way a long time ago. Things happen, life happens, you know, but we both have the understanding that you have to live in the moment, you know, and you could plan. Your plan could be airtight and still something is gonna go wrong. So do it now. Don't wait. You know what I'm saying? Or it may be too late. And you don't want to live your life regretting anything. And that's another shout out to Rosebud because he advocates that also. But for all you folks that's gonna catch the playback, follow Vonnie on Instagram, check him out on Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the T.O.P Cast channel. Follow me on Instagram. I got 2 pages, The Incredible T.O.P and the T.O.P Cast. Come fuck with me over there on Anchor because I get a little bit more X-rated. You know what I'm saying? This is just PG, maybe rated R17 at most. And check me out on TikTok. I haven't got popping too much over there yet, but you know, it's about to jump off. It's 2021. Any closing words before we get out of here, Vonnie?
Hey man, I just wanted to let you know, man, I appreciate you for having me, man. I'm honored to be here, honored to sit up here and chop it up with you. I'm glad to be sitting up here chopping it up with you, man. So just to be sitting up here in the flesh right now, it's a blessing, man. And you know, shout out to everybody that tuned in. Hey man, if you can relate to my perspective, you know, you hear what you heard something that you like. I said, hey, follow me on Instagram, man. I do right now. I'm doing most of my content. I make a video a week on Facebook, so you can look me up, Vonnie EC on Facebook. You can look me up on Instagram, Vonnie_EC, and you can look me up on YouTube, Vonnie EC. You muted.
Sorry about that, Vonnie. I went out the whole broadcast there for a second.
Is we still on? Or?
Yeah, we still on. I just I removed myself from the broadcast by mistake. I was trying to get the song prepared. This is a small little blip. But anyway, again, thank you for coming. Thank all you fellas for listening. For all you folks who catch the playback, I appreciate you for watching. Again, don't forget to go follow Vonnie on his social media. Don't forget to follow me on mine. All the links are going to be in the description below after this video processes and uploads. Thanks all you guys for watching. I'm going to take you out with Kendrick Lamar and Busta Rhymes. Okay, today. Yeah, sorry about that, fellas. Thank you for joining, guys. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. I'm going to cut this part of the video out. Sorry about that. My computer decided to restart itself right as I was ending the show. Till next time, T.O.P. out.